Hi, I'm Peggy, and for my first vlog, I thought I would tell a very personal story about myself. I came from a family of entrepreneurs, so it was natural for me to become self-employed. My family was full of inventors, designers. They created things, they painted things, they drew things, they were creative. I thought I had no talent when I was a kid because I couldn't draw. But when I was about 9, I picked up a camera and I became completely fascinated with taking portraits. I wanted to make people look good on film, and I was really good at it even at a very young age. I later realized I had a gift. But with all gifts, you still have to have training. I mean, we all know and have heard of very gifted surgeons, but I guarantee they don't go into the operating room because they're gifted. That gift takes a lot of nurturing and training and education. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. So let's go back to my childhood. The summer when I was 5 years old, I sat in front of the TV with my sister Donna, and we watched Bruce Jenner win over and over and set a new world record in the decathlon. I was so excited and impressed with that. I couldn't eat enough Wheaties. I even had Bruce Jenner tennis shoes, the ones that came with the little gold medal. I remember I took that gold medal off and I put it around a string and I wore it around my neck forever. Okay, I never said I was a cool kid, but I was really into the whole gold medal thing. Anyway, now fast forward a little bit to the summer of '81. I was, as usual, in trouble and sent to my room. My other sister had stopped by to ask my mom to sew something for her, and I overheard them talking, and she was saying that Bruce Jenner was on the Phil Donahue show. So I snuck out of my room, went into the living room, turned on the TV as quiet as I could, and had my ear pressed up to the speaker. And he was talking about the fact that he had dyslexia. And as a kid, he thought he was dumb and how things got jumbled around and how he just couldn't succeed. And you guessed it, I got caught. My mom came running into the living room, swinging the fly swatter, yelling at me. The fly swatter was the weapon of choice for my childhood. Anyway, I finally got her attention and I said, wait. He's talking about that when he was a kid he couldn't read, but he's not dumb, and everything he's saying sounds just like me. Hold on, I think I forgot to tell you a little bit of the story. So kindergarten wasn't that bad. I was a little slower than the other kids picking up on the alphabet and stuff like that. But first grade, that's when I definitely got labeled as the dumb kid. First grade was pretty bad. My teacher got so frustrated with me that she would just tell me that I was stupid, to go sit in the corner. She wasn't even going to waste her time with me. That I was nothing but a waste of time and a stupid kid. Of course, I got to go home and my mom told me things like, "You're just dumb like your dad. You're not even trying." So, you know, those kind of things stick with you as a kid. So that was my childhood. Now back to 1981. So I finally convinced my mom to stop swinging the fly swatter, and she was listening to me, and the first thing she says is, "What do you mean you can't read?" Which still to this day makes me laugh because I could barely mutter through a tip and mitten first grade reader. And I had passed first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and no one knew I couldn't read. Because I was so smart, I would listen, I would pay attention, I would cheat, I would do whatever it took to get through the assignments. Everybody just thought I was horsing around. No one actually realized I really couldn't read. So she wrote off for a transcript of the show, got it back, took it to the counselor, had me tested. Now back then, they had dyslexia set up in, like, I believe it was 7 categories. And I tested for a very severe case of dyslexia. Now, I'm going to leave out a whole lot of details here because I don't want this vlog to go on forever. But between the time I was diagnosed with a learning disability and the 8th grade, it was a pretty dark time in my life because I think it felt like I really was the dumb kid because now I'm certified as the dumb kid. And so I just kind of quit trying. I didn't do anything. By the time I was in the 8th grade. I read at a beginner 3rd grade level and I had a D average. But a couple months into the 8th grade, a miracle happened. My home ec teacher went to the principal. Her name's Mrs. Dodd, by the way. She's passed away, but she's probably the biggest hero in my life. She went to the principal and said, "Let me work with Peggy. I've been reading about this program from Infinity Minds." And so she took me on her prep hour, and she started to teach me how to speed read. So I went from not barely being able to read a 3rd grade level to reading over 900 words a minute with a 98% comprehension. It absolutely changed my life. Now, after that time, obviously there was a lot of work involved, but I did end up graduating from high school with a Yellow Cord, National Honor Society, so I've always been very proud of that. Now you might be wondering, why in the world is she telling me this story? Well, it's October and it's Dyslexia Awareness Month, so I thought it was appropriate to tell my story for the very first time. I bet that as soon as you heard me say dyslexia, you thought, oh, that's that learning disability where kids see numbers and letters backwards. It's okay, I'm not mad at you. I've come to understand that it's very difficult for an average thinker to understand the complex mind of a dyslexic person. But I will tell you this right now. Dyslexia is not a learning disability, not even close. Fact, dyslexics have extremely high IQs. Fact, dyslexic people learn extremely fast. Fact, dyslexic people are the ones that have changed our world and made it a better place for us to live in. Let me just take a second and try to explain to you how a dyslexic person's mind works. A dyslexic person processes between 1,500 and 4,000 images per second, where an average thinker processes about 150 images per second. Now I'm going to repeat that because I want you to really hear what I said. A dyslexic mind processes between 1,500 to 4,000 images per second, and an average thinker 150 images per second. Now, just to kind of give you a visual so you can kind of wrap around your head what that means, a dyslexic person sees in 3D. And by that, I mean, when an average thinker looks at a tree, they see the front of the tree. When a dyslexic person looks at the tree, they see everything around the tree, taking pictures and images of the shadows and the leaves and everything around to put a whole 3D image together. So basically, a dyslexic person can see behind the tree. That's the best way I can explain it. A dyslexic person thinks outside the box. Einstein, Edison, Ben Franklin, the list goes on and on and on. They have the ability to see things that the average person just doesn't even think about. The average person's brain doesn't have time to think about it. However, school, as you can imagine, is normally a terrible experience. And if a kid can get through school and even have a shred of self-esteem left, they're destined for greatness, let me tell you. Okay, anyway, back to my story. I want to tell you about a story that happened to me just recently. Now, this is something that's happened, similar things have happened over the years. But this one just recently happened. I'm not going to say any names because I know how it is to be humiliated in public, and I would never do that to anyone. But I belong to this amazing networking group. Part of the thing that we do is everybody reads a little thing, and shares. Well, just by chance, I got picked 3 weeks in a row. Now on the 3rd week, I jokingly go, "Oh sure, pick on the dyslexic kid." Right as I was saying it, I knew I should not have said that. Sure enough, I'm reading. Now remember, I'm a great reader. I mean, yeah, in the back of my head, I still have that scared little kid, but I'm a great reader. But as I'm reading, I stuttered on a word. And this guy, he goes, "Oh, Peggy, you're doing okay. You just keep reading. Everybody messes up sometimes." Well, instantly, I was a scared little kid standing in front of the classroom, but I think I recovered. I finished reading, but he still said something to me. As I'm sitting down, he goes, He goes, "You keep practicing, Peggy, and you'll be a good reader sometime." Now you can imagine, let's be honest, I wanted to punch him in the face. But I really like this group, and I like him. So I sat down and smiled, and I never said anything else about it. But let me explain to you how a dyslexic's mind works. There's no amount of phonics, there's no amount of practicing, there's no amount of repetition that's going to make a dyslexic person a better reader. Until their mind is to the point where they can grasp it, harness it, and focus it on simple things like letters and symbols and numbers, they're not going to be a good reader. So repetition is only going to frustrate them and probably frustrate you. So it's better that you find help and teach them the way they learn. So this is October, Dyslexia Awareness Month, and I hope that I've enlightened you a little bit about dyslexia. I hope that you walk away realizing that dyslexia is not a learning disability. And I hope that you treat people a little differently. Just because people don't learn the way you learn, it might be because they're on a higher level than you and you just don't understand where their brain is. So just be a little thoughtful and realize that just because people are different, it doesn't mean they're worse. Sometimes it may actually mean they're better. But anyway, I bet you guys forgot that when we started this vlog, we were talking about me and my camera. So I am dyslexic, and I have a few superpowers. One of my gifts is that I have the ability to interact with people, bring out their personalities and capture it. I know body types. I know what angle is going to make you look your best. But I also had training. I have had training and experience, and I actually have taken my gift and honed it in and made it something that is useful. So I really hope you guys enjoyed my first vlog. I hope you subscribe. I hope you leave comments. I hope to see you back soon. Have a great October.